Don't Move has a winning team, so I would be surprised if they actually fail. Hey guys, welcome back. How is everything going? This is Lonzo from Horror Movie News. Great news. I know that we have a new movie coming out this Friday, the 25th. It is called Don't Move. And I know some of you are saying to yourselves, that title sounds kind of familiar. Don't Breathe. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that remember Don't Breathe, that was a movie that was about a blind guy who lived by himself in Detroit, and a couple of young 20-somethings decide to break into his house and steal something valuable, and all of a sudden he's this big badass, and it just turns into this weird cat and mouse chase game that goes on until all of these ugly secrets come out. And it's a good movie. They made a part 1 and a part 2. The person that happened to produce that, Sam Raimi, is also producing Don't Move. Now, if you don't know who Sam Raimi is, well, I challenge you to go down a rabbit hole and search Sam Raimi and find out what you can find out. He was the guy who created the Evil Dead trilogy. He was the guy that directed the Spider-Man trilogy, the first one. He did The Quick and the Dead. He did one of my personal favorite movies, A Simple Plan. Don't Move seems to be a movie that came out of nowhere. It's because it probably did. It's probably a product of something with Sam Raimi, and they somehow produced it, put together this concept and this idea. They pitched it to a studio, potentially Netflix, obviously. Netflix bought it. They went out and made it. Here we are today. Now, here's the thing about this. Most movies like this, especially these horror movies that get released and they have this short release date, will usually get some kind of a theatrical release. In this case, there was no theatrical release. We're only going to get small bits and pieces of what this film is actually about. We're not going to get a build-up. There's not going to be what they call P&A, which is prints and advertising, in this in the Netflix world, simply because they don't need to do that. They already have this built-in subscriber base, so all they have to do is just drop the movie. Everybody goes nuts. It either, climbs high, or it goes low, it becomes part of the top 10, or it just sort of delves into Netflix catalog history. As always, I'm not going to give you guys all the information in the world about the movie. And quite honestly, I don't even have all the information about the movie. I went down as big a rabbit hole as I could possibly go down to get all the information I could about this movie. There's not a lot of information about it. Mainly because of the fact, as I said before, that this is not a movie that went through some of the typical channels of going to film festivals, having a big release date, and having a big build-up. So this is just a movie that went straight from concept to pre-production, to production, to post-production, and then to Netflix. So what they're giving us is based on what Netflix wants us to know. Let's read a little bit about it. Don't Move is an upcoming American horror film that's starring Kelsey, Asbille, Finn Wittrock, and Daniel Francis. Now, we know Kelsey Asbille. She was in Yellowstone. She was in One Tree Hill, Pair of Kings, Wind River. Great actress. So she's going to be the lead on this one. So it was directed by Adam Schindler and Brian Netto and written by TJ Simphil and David White. It's scheduled to be released by Netflix on October 25th, which is this Friday, like I already said. So the plot is about this seasoned killer who injects a grieving woman with a paralytic agent. She must run, fight, and hide before the body completely shuts down. There's a 20-minute time frame. Now, this is all in the trailer. I'm going to put the entire trailer in the comments, as I always do. I'm going to give you a little bit of a slice of it so you can see some of it here. Let's take a peek at it.
At minute 1, your fine motor skills will start to go. At minute 10, your legs will begin tingling. Minute 15, your legs will give out altogether. At minute 18, your breathing will become labored. And just before everything shuts down on you, your voice.
So it looks action-packed. It looks like from the minute that she gets on this trail or wherever she is out in this remote wilderness, once she gets that injection, once she gets hit with that paralytic, the game is on. And from what I've read, and one interview that I was able to track down, and this just happened to be on the writer's Instagram page because I couldn't find that interview anywhere else, he said that the minute that the movie starts, it's a ride. From the moment that she gets hit with that paralytic, the entire time you're on this wild goose chase trying to figure out what's going on, how she's going to get out of the situation. And I'm sure it comes up to a fitting climax. I don't know if there's any twists. I don't know if there's any turns. But what I do know is that we have a winning team in hand. When you have Sam Raimi attached to this whole thing producing, and he's produced a ton of hits, especially when it comes to the horror genre, and then you have Netflix, who usually isn't going to pick something up unless it's quality and it's fitting for their audience. Because at this point in time, Netflix has the ability to be picky in all shapes and forms. So if your content doesn't reach what they feel is measurable for their content, for their audience, they're just not going to pick it up. Now, it doesn't mean that Netflix doesn't get cheesy movies, and it doesn't mean that Netflix doesn't have content that absolutely sucks, because it does. But the thing is, most of the time when it comes to movies like this, where you have, you know, a really good producer like that, directors seem fairly new. I've seen a couple of things that they did, and the directors of Don't Move seem fairly new. But I think because of the fact that you had Sam Raimi attached to this, that it's probably going to be some quality content. So let's look forward to it. If I get any more information about this movie, I am going to let you guys know as soon as possible. So until next time, guys, that's all the information that I have today about Don't Move. So go watch that as soon as you can. As always, comment, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. You know the drill. And I will see you guys next time. Stay scared.